Part 25. I took away the villain's son. Author, the great Onmyoji. Chapter 243. Deathly silence filled the sky and the stars. Naturally, there are thousands of powerful people in the sky, so naturally no one can defeat Yang Hao. Either some people are unwilling to be born for the risk, or some people have been hiding from the world for too long and cannot obtain qualifications in a short time. That's all. It seems like this is the only way to go. Invincible road, let me go. Yang Hao suddenly said calmly. He actually started to forcefully expel Woody Lu, intending to end Woody Lu. The golden light in the sky flashed and sublimated. Something surprising happened. Woody Lu actually cooperated extremely well with Yang Hao and began to shrink slowly. Not only that, the ultimate invincible Taoist heart in his body is also growing like weeds at this moment. In the blink of an eye, the breath of the ultimate invincible Taoist heart connecting to the law barrier has rushed through 200 roads, heading towards 300 roads, or even 500 roads. There is no doubt that no one can fight with him. Yang Hao took the initiative to expel Woody Lu, but he did it wrongly, causing Yang Hao to jump up crazily. Perhaps, eventually, at least 1,000 links can be linked. As time went by, the invincible road was expelled by him bit by bit. He could clearly sense that his ultimate invincible Taoist heart was far more than that. All the laws in his body had transformed to an almost extreme level. Including the three supreme laws of time, space, and destiny have also begun to transform crazily. Boom! Just when Yang Hao's invincible road was about to close, and even the star arena began to become a little dark, the entire avenue of stars began to tremble. An extremely bright star was rising. Are there new stars rising at this time? Tiangang star? Or the evil star? It's a pity that the stars are rising at this time, and all his brilliance is obscured by the Emperor. Someone has noticed the rising stars in the Dao galaxy. If it were a different time, it would have been noticed by the world, but now everyone's eyes are focused on Yang Hao forcibly closing the invincible road, and no one pays attention to it. However, Yang Hao now set his sights on this avenue star. Something interesting. Others watching from the outside are not as direct as he can see from the Dao star. This Dao star rose too fast. In the blink of an eye, it had passed the area where the Disha Dao star was located and jumped into the Dao Tiangang star area. However, at this moment, the dazzling Dao Tiangang star has not stopped rising. It rises faster and faster, heading towards the deepest part of the Dao galaxy. Is this the 4th Avenue main star? Oh my God, the 4th Avenue star will be born at this time. Why is that? Could it be that he was stimulated by Emperor Zun? At this time, many people finally noticed this scene. Only then did they focus on the Dao Tiangang star. Under everyone's shocked gaze, this Dao Tiangang star has rushed to the deepest point. It seems that it is destined to become the 4th Dao Tiangang star. However, a sudden change occurred. What happened? Why can't this upcoming main star of the avenue no longer move forward? It's the 2nd Avenue main star. He is exuding endless pressure, suppressing the Dao Tiangang star that is about to become the main star of the Dao. I see. The 2nd Avenue main star and the upcoming Avenue main star come from the same big star. There can only be one Avenue main star in a big star, so this 4th Avenue main star is suppressed by the 2nd Avenue main star that has become the Avenue main star. It's a pity that the potential of the Avenue main star was forcibly suppressed by the 2nd Avenue main star and returned to the area where the Avenue Tiangang star is located. One voice after another discussed. In their eyes, the Avenue star that could become the main star of the 4th Avenue was eventually suppressed by the bright light of the 2nd Avenue star. I can only say that time is also destiny. If it were not on the same big star, this Dao star, which has been firmly established in the deepest part of the Dao Tiangang star, would inevitably become the 4th Dao main star, and would not be able to stay at the Dao Tiangang star in the end as it is now. area. Such a miraculous thing also appeared for the first time when the Great Age came and the Great Dao Galaxy appeared. What bad luck! Even Yang Hao, who has completely sublimated at this moment and condensed the ultimate invincible Taoist heart, sighed with emotion. That main star must be from the big star where Huang is. He took a deep look at the Dao Tiangang star and knew that the big Dao Tiangang star must be the same as Huang. Thinking of Huang, Yang Hao's eyes became more serious. There will eventually be a battle with him. Once I become a saint, I will be qualified to step into the ancient road of the starry sky. Should I take the first step and go to the big star where Huang is to completely kill him before he has grown up and eliminate this hidden danger? Yang Hao suddenly had such an idea. He was not strong enough before, but now that he has reached the saint realm, he can completely walk on the ancient road in the starry sky. The great Dao Tiangang star has transformed into a projection. Did he actually want to fight Emperor Zun when he was about to close the invincible road? No, he should have been reborn deliberately for the Emperor. While Yang Hao was thinking, a series of shocking sounds resounded. Yang Hao slowly raised his head, and a figure appeared in his eyes. This figure was projected from the Dao Tiangang star that had just risen and almost became the main star of the Dao. Interesting. Are you here to challenge me? Yang Hao laughed as he watched the figure gradually transform. He did not expect that when he was about to close the invincible road, he would encounter a strong enemy again. He now showed a cautious look. Although the opponent has not completely transformed, but Yang Hao could already vaguely feel the threat from the other party. He. Challenge you? You don't deserve it. Just seeing that you have matured, in order to prevent you from being snatched away by others on the God list, I still let the saint harvest you in advance, and my birth is not in vain. The figure has gradually appeared. In front of him is a young man in white with sword-shaped eyebrows and starry eyes, and his aura is as sharp as a divine sword. His casual words are filled with extremely powerful confidence. Oh! Interesting. You are also my last prey before I ascend to the God list. Yang Hao sneered when he heard this. Since he started practicing, there have been too many people who want to suppress him, but no one has ever been able to succeed. Go. The young man in white is not a talkative person. After chatting with Yang Hao for a few words, he directly shot out a divine light. Suddenly, the sky broke. A divine light surged out. Jidao Emperor weapon. A divine bell was the young man in white was released. Yang Hao squinted his eyes and directly sacrificed the great desolate sword. Something that Yang Hao did not expect happened. The great desolate sword was intertwined with the divine bell, but it did not gain the slightest advantage. You know, the great desolate sword was intertwined with the divine bell. The sword is the ultimate emperor-killing weapon. The divine bell in front of you is definitely not the ultimate emperor-killing weapon. This is the emperor's bell. He is from the Zhang family of Donghuang star. Among the Ziwei stars, there are extremely powerful people who suddenly opened their eyes wide with an incredible expression. Donghuang star, Zhang family, emperor's bell. As soon as these three words appeared, many powerful people from the Ziwei star were moved. Although they are extremely far apart on the starry sky ancient road, they have still heard of the Zhang family's reputation, which is enough to show that the Zhang family's reputation is strong. This emperor's bell is comparable to the top 3 imperial weapons in the history of our Ziwei star. The Great Wild Sword will definitely not be the opponent of the emperor's bell. Emperor Zun is in some trouble. At this moment, Emperor Huai looked deeply at the two extremely powerful Ji-Dao emperor weapons intertwined, bursting out endless divine light, completely shattering time and space in all directions, but he said slowly. It doesn't matter, the great sword is also extremely powerful. Although it is not as powerful as the emperor's bell, it should not be completely defeated in a short time. As long as Emperor Zun can defeat the opponent, then this game can still be won. This should be the last battle on Invincible Road. Beside Emperor Huai, the Blood Emperor slowly spoke. Big trouble. What the opponent showed was the Quasi-Emperor's combat power. There is no aura of devastation in his body. This is a great saint. On the star arena, Yang Hao was already fighting with the young man in white. But at the moment of the fight, Yang Hao's ancient killing formation was shattered by the divine sword in the hand of the young man in white. Not only that, Yang Hao's there were streaks of divine blood splashing out from his body. After just one fight, he was instantly at a disadvantage. Seeing this scene, Emperor Huai spoke again, with an ugly look on his face. Great sage. Not far away, when Zhang Wu heard the words of the Quasi-Emperor, she also frowned deeply and said in a strange tone, how can it be the great sage? If he were a great sage, his potential would have been exhausted, and there would be no chance of him being ranked on the Dao Tiangang star, let alone the Dao main star. Zhang Wu murmured to herself, making Lu Yan beside him confused. Elder Zhang, what is the great sage? Why have I never heard of this realm? Hearing this, Zhang Wu looked at the sky tower meaningfully, and slowly explained to Lu Yan, _please download the novel without underlining. I took away the villain's son. Author, the great Onmyoji. Chapter 244. The Great Sage is an alternative realm that gives up enlightenment. After becoming a sage, you have reached the ultimate level that a practitioner can achieve. If you go further, you will be fully sublimated and transformed into a quasi-emperor, and you will be qualified to embark on the road to enlightenment. However, after transforming into a quasi-emperor, although he has the opportunity to attain enlightenment, he will also encounter the 5 declines of heaven and man. Not only will he encounter a catastrophe of decline, but he will also be in danger of life and death. Since ancient times, some people have chosen to go forward and realize the truth. Naturally, some people make another choice. Great Sage, this is another option. After choosing the Great Sage, you will still be fully sublimated and have quasi-emperor combat power. However, he is not qualified to attain enlightenment and cannot embark on the path of attainment, but therefore there will be no degeneration of heaven and man. It's just that the lifespan of a great sage is often very short, completely incomparable to that of a quasi-emperor. Their ultimate sublimation also needs to pay a price. Once you become a great saint, you have no future and no potential. Zhang Wu explained to Lu Yan that because of this, the great sage has no potential at all and should not become a Dao galaxy at all. This is why Zhang Wu has doubts. This great sage in the void comes from the Zhang family of the Eastern Wilderness Star. Not only did he become the Dao Tiangang star, he also had the opportunity to become the Dao main star. Could it be that the great sage followed another path and found a path to enlightenment? At this time, after hearing Zhang Wu's explanation, Lu Yan said to Zhang Wu, maybe. But it's unlikely. In this world, cultivation has existed for endless years. If a way forward can be found, there will not be only a few great saints left, Zhang Wu murmured to herself. Because of their longevity, the great sage is often countless times rarer than the quasi-emperor. This is why now that the great world has come and the quasi-emperor has not come out, the great sage has not been seen. She looked at the white-clothed young man above the 9 heavens. The confusion in her eyes deepened. Although the divine sword in the opponent's hand was sky blue, it was very similar to all the techniques of her red shadow divine sword. This made her frown. The wrinkles became even more severe. Above the 9 heavens, Yang Hao was being suppressed crazily in the star arena. It was not that Yang Hao meant to show weakness. He had already used the reincarnation method that he had sublimated again, and also used the underworld method, and the prehistoric killing method. The power of the formation was fully activated. In the sky, the great desolate sword and the emperor's bell were also fighting each other crazily, and the battle was extremely fierce. At this time, Yang Hao had already unleashed his ultimate combat power. However, he was still at a disadvantage. It was not that he was weak, he had already extremely powerful. Otherwise, it would be impossible to achieve such a brilliant record on the road to invincibility. The young man in white with the sword on the opposite side is really too strong. Quasi-Emperor's combat power. Yang Hao has realized that this young man in white is most likely a quasi-emperor. He also doesn't understand the great sage, but this does not prevent him from judging the opponent's combat power. Very powerful, so powerful that every inch of my body is burning. I want to fight, I want to fight. Enlightenment in battle, sublimation in fighting. Yang Hao's body was covered with scars, and his whole body was filled with immortal matter, which was crazily filling up his body. But the other party was unscathed. He. You are quite tenacious, but you and I are a bit bullying. But there's nothing you can do about it? Who makes you so mature and exciting now? You should be fighting the main body, right? Being able to die under my Zhangtianyu sword can be considered a blessing for you. The smiling young man in white looked at Yang Hao's struggle and smiled happily. He felt very happy to crush such a talented and supreme genius. If they were in the same realm, he would definitely not be his opponent. But it's a pity that he is a great sage. And the other party is just a mere one. Although today he has the reputation of bullying the young, he is not a little embarrassed. At his age, he has already looked down on the reputation. There is only the truth. Only the benefits can make his blood boil. There is also a Jidao Emperor weapon, why not use it? Can't control it? Yes, after all, you are the emperor. If you don't need it, then I'll use it. Zhang Tianyu showed a joking smile at this moment, and suddenly a flash of light flashed in his hand, and another extremely powerful imperial weapon exuding imperial energy appeared. He had been watching the battle before, and he had a panoramic view of every battle of Yang Hao. Therefore, Zhang Tianyu he knew very well how terrifying the understanding and fighting talent of a supreme prodigy like Yang Hao were. If he wasn't careful, everything might be reversed. So after Zhang Tianyu tested all Yang Hao's trump cards, he once again took out a Jidao Imperial soldiers. Seeing this scene, many people took a breath again. See the second Jidao Emperor weapon again. And this Jidao Imperial weapon is obviously much more powerful than the two Jidao Imperial weapons used by the foreign race before. The Emperor's sword. As expected of the Donghuangzhang family, they are extremely rich and powerful. For the sake of a junior being born, Zhang Tianyu took out the two pieces of Jidao Emperor weapons to fight. It seems that he is determined to win. I thought I would see the rise of a legend today, but I didn't expect to witness the fall of a major star. It's just that some of them are so unfair. Fair? What's fair in the world of spiritual practice? When you explore a secret realm, will someone give in to you because your realm is low? When a divine object is born, you have no background and no strength. Who will let you practice for tens of thousands of years before fighting for it? Your level is low because you are incompetent and you deserve it. No one will pity you. Good. Being born late is also destiny. Since you dare to challenge the world, you must be prepared to face powerful enemies. This is the invincible road. Looking at the star arena, Yang Hao was extremely miserable, and no one sympathized with him. He was so arrogant just now, he should pay it back now. Watching him build as a low, watching him banquet guests, watching his building collapse. This is the norm for practitioners. Countless powerful people in the extreme realm have experienced ups and downs in the world of practice, and know when to be patient and when to be unbridled. In their view, it was only natural for Yang Hao to be suppressed for his arrogant behavior. Finished. Should I send the other Jidao Emperor soldiers from my eternal holy land? In the holy land of eternal life, one of the Jidao Imperial soldiers frowned, and Gu Longsheng suggested. It's just two Jidao Imperial weapons. The foundation of the holy land of eternal life is not much worse than that of the Zhang family. This is in front of the mountain gate of the holy land of eternal life. Holy Lord Tianding is about to be defeated, and the Holy Land of Eternal Life will not tolerate such a thing. Ancient Dragon Saint's proposal has awakened many powerful Jideo warriors in the Holy Land of Eternal Life. When comparing the background of the Jideo Emperor's soldiers, they have not been afraid of anyone in the Holy Land of Eternal Life. This is not a simple issue of the Supreme Emperor's soldiers. The gap between the Emperor's realm and that of the Great Sage is too big. Even if we send the Jideo Emperor's soldiers, it will be impossible to control the Emperor's realm. No matter what, we can't just watch Emperor Zun's defeat. Yes, go get the Jideo Emperor soldier. In the Holy Land of Eternal Life, discussions among the powerful men arose. Need not. At this moment, Zhongwu suddenly spoke. As soon as she spoke, everyone fell silent. Even the quasi-emperor of the Eternal Holy Land looked at Zhongwu. Zhongwu was the former Holy Master and Yang Hao's protector. After all, at this critical moment, how could you suddenly refuse? Emperor Zun has two avenues of evolution, and the immortal matter in his body should have matured long ago. If he wanted to, he could become a saint at any time. Zhongwu didn't say much, she just said it in an understatement. Her words were like a thunder, which made many powerful people in the Holy Land of Eternal Life wake up from their dreams. Right. Why hasn't he broken through and become a saint? He is clearly capable of becoming a saint. What is he waiting for? Because of this, many extremely powerful people became confused. Since Yang Hao could have become a saint long ago, why hasn't he become a saint now? What is he waiting for? Seeing the miserable appearance of Yang Hao, who was pressed hard by the Emperor's sword and protected himself with the Wei Tower, the extreme powerhouses in the Holy Land of Eternal Life became even more confused. Yang Hao, what are you thinking? He is about to die. Haha, no matter how powerful the genius is, so what? If you show too much edge, you will only end up falling. Why are the other Avenue Lords not as arrogant as you? I just want to live longer. You are at the end of your strength, so get on with your life. Zhang Tianyu slashed out the divine sword in his hand, while urging the Emperor's sword and the Emperor's bell to suppress Yang Hao. Both the great desolate sword and the Wei Tower were crumbling, and Yang Hao's body was shattered, and he was on the edge of death. Oh! You talk too much. Finally at this time, Yang Hao spoke slowly. The next moment, the light was shining. One avenue after another the beginning evolved from him. Boom! The heavenly punishment shook crazily. Yang Hao has not yet become a saint, and the laws in his body finally jumped up crazily under the terrifying realization of the ultimate invincible Taoist heart, breaking through the limit in the extreme. With the movement of the supreme immortal bone. At this moment, Yang Hao, at the same time 4 avenues were condensed. At this moment, 6 avenues surrounded him. Today, I perform the Dharma as a holy. Behead a quasi-emperor and congratulate him. When the words fell, Yang Hao's golden light flashed and he became a saint immediately. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. I took away the villain's son. Author, the great Onmyoji. Chapter 245. Yang Hao's voice resounded throughout the sky and thousands of stars. Some people think he is arrogant, domineering, and sharp. Yang Hao never concealed it. He is just domineering and arrogant. His way is to be sharp and radiant. Even becoming a saint requires killing a quasi-emperor as a congratulation. Comparable to the Dao Emperor's soldiers. Yang Hao's voice sounded again. His whole body was shrouded in divine light. Although Yang Hao's figure could not be seen clearly, his words resounded throughout the world. Too bad he became a saint at this time. What is he saying? Zhang Tianyu frowned, but accelerated his offensive. The extreme path breaks through the wilderness. As soon as he finished speaking, the Emperor's sword erupted with endless aura. Even a powerful quasi-emperor had to dodge this blow in an instant. But Yang Hao did not dodge. He. The laughter came. Ding. A very clear sound sounded. The emperor's sword seemed to hit the copper wall in an instant. Not only did it not penetrate, but it hit hard. Not good. Zhang Tianyu's expression changed. He looked straight in the eye, and the one who resisted his sword was another Ji-Dao Emperor armament. Emperor Mountain. The moment Yang Hao became a saint, he had automatically become the Holy Lord of the Eternal Holy Land. Naturally. You can also freely borrow the foundation of the ultimate Emperor weapon of the Eternal Holy Land. The next moment, the Mother Sword of all things appears. Vitality now. When Yang Hao finished speaking, the endless Mother Sword of all things wrapped him up. All the injuries he suffered just now were recovered by the swarming Mother Energy of all things. His immortal matter was recovering. The broken prehistoric killing array was recovering. Just now even the Wangjian, who was suppressed at a disadvantage, jumped up crazily after sensing the Mother Energy of all things, and pressed back against the Emperor's bell. When Zhang Tianyu saw this scene, his scalp went numb. This is not a problem of simple unipolar Emperor soldiers. He can sense that Yang Hao is terrifyingly powerful at this moment. Why did he suddenly become a saint? I have observed that he is not too old, and his cultivation time will not exceed 200 years. Even if he evolves the avenue in advance, immortal matter still needs time to accumulate. No matter how genius you are, you cannot ignore time. This is unreasonable. Zhang Tianyu only watched Yang Hao's battle in the Dao Galaxy through the Dao Galaxy, but he didn't understand how perverted Yang Hao was. A feeling of fear filled his heart. He wanted to escape. As Yang Hao became a saint, the feeling of being in control has completely disappeared. Do not run. You must die today. Yang Hao said calmly. After he had fully recovered, his hand changed again. You are lucky to die in my hands today. Yang Hao's voice sounded calmly again. A hatchet exuding a terrifying aura appeared and beheaded directly towards Zhang Tianyu. Today, the biggest advantage of his invincible path is that it is spread out over the holy land of eternal life. The Emperor Mountain just now has been quickly returning to the holy land of eternal life. In the next moment, Yang Hao borrowed the Kahai hatchet and killed him with one strike. Ah! Zhang Tianyu screamed. Damn it! His complexion changed drastically and he ran away quickly. This hatchet-shaped Ji-Dao Emperor's weapon could directly kill his Dao with one strike. Although he could not completely cut off his Dao, he was caught off guard by this knife. Killing, Zhang Tianyu can no longer use the avenue that was killed by the Kahai hatchet in this battle. Interesting. Yang Hao sensed the danger of Kahai Hatao and was very interested. The next moment, Kahai Hatao disappeared. Jingshen sect appeared directly and faced Zhang Tianyu. The Emperor's bell. The Emperor's sword. Zhang Tianyu looked horrified. He summoned the Emperor's soldiers to protect the left and right. Break. When Yang Hao saw this scene, he sneered again and again. 6 avenues around him had already taken shape. In an instant, they all came together. The law of reincarnation of destiny. The method of underworld and hell. At this time, Yang Hao, except for the 3 supreme laws, all the other laws have been transformed into great avenues. It is self-evident how powerful the 2 self-created laws are. Even the 2 supreme emperor weapons in front of Zhang Tianyu, they were all affected in an instant. The great desolate sword pierced through the air. The Wei Tower washed away the pressure. At the same time, the Jingshen sect shook out. 3 Ji-Dao imperial weapons were activated by Yang Hao at the same time. Oh no! Seeing this scene, Zhang Tianyu exploded crazily, shooting swords into the sky one after another, cutting the entire sea of stars into pieces. But it was useless. Yang Hao's current combat power is no weaker than him. Even the Ji-Dao Emperor, there were more soldiers than him. When Jiang Tianyu lost sight of the other and panicked, Yang Hao urged the Great Desolate Sword to attack the Taiwang Sword, and the Wei Tower entangled the Emperor's bell. The weird Jingshen sect appeared directly behind Jiang Tianyu, capturing him instantly. Ah! Jiang Tianyu, who was admitted into Jingshen sect, screamed crazily. He was in extreme pain. His previous calmness and indifference were no longer visible. This battle. And I, Yang Hao, will leave my name on the invincible road. After Yang Hao imprisoned Jiang Tianyu in the Jingshen Gate, he knew that this battle was completely over. The Jingshen Gate is an imperial weapon of punishment. If the other party is not included, that's it. Once it is included, it is basically impossible to fight again. There is a possibility of escaping. Even Jiang Tianyu's body far away on the eastern wilderness star will be implicated. As expected. As Jiang Tianyu was included in it, bright golden lights flashed from the invincible road and finally transformed. Because the divine light dissipated. And the Dao Tiangang star that projected from Jiang Tianyu was completely void at this moment and fell. When all living beings saw this scene, they were all silent. An invincible being who had the opportunity to become the main star of the Dao was actually killed like this. The crushing suppression was beyond everyone's expectations. There was no way, the reversal happened too quickly. It wasn't until Yang Hao became a saint that anyone realized that Yang Hao could evolve a great way in the Emperor realm. The conditions for becoming a saint were met. His becoming a saint was both unexpected and reasonable. It can only be said that Yang Hao's age and arrogance made people subconsciously ignore him. The road to invincibility began to close again. It's over, let's see where Emperor Zun can be ranked on the Emperor list. He is probably in the top 100 at least. He is so stunning and stunning. Maybe in the top 52. The further forward, the more dangerous it is. Indeed, the road to invincibility is just the beginning. Not to mention other big stars, I am afraid that many people are attracted to Ziwei Big Star now. Several quasi-emperors in the Holy Land of Eternal Life communicated. They knew that the invincible road had indeed come to an end as Yang Hao said. Next, they waited for the Emperor's list to appear. The Emperor's list is very magical, and only the Supreme One who has boarded the Emperor's list, only the geniuses can see it. In the eyes of others, what they see will only be the wordless heavenly book. This is also the origin of the ominous and invincible road. Only the true supreme geniuses can be qualified to become the prey of other supreme geniuses in Zhushan Wangxing. Not only the quasi-emperors of the eternal Holy Land, but also figures appearing on the stars in the sky. Some of these figures have smiling faces, some have expectant eyes, and some have bloodthirsty light in their eyes. Kindness. Wrong. The invincible road is not over yet. At this moment, the Blood Emperor suddenly raised his head. Although the invincible road has disappeared, the star arena that has been taken in is still slowly glowing. It's impossible, the invincible road has disappeared, and it's impossible for anyone to challenge it. Emperor Huai denied it. You see, the Emperor list has begun to appear. As soon as he finished speaking, he saw above the Dao galaxy, as expected, a golden list appeared. On it, names began to appear one after another. But that's not right. The Blood Emperor frowned and stared at Dao Xing seriously. There are avenues and stars vibrating, and someone is projecting. That's the second avenue main star, the ancient emperor also suddenly said at this moment. The one from the eastern wilderness star. At this time, Emperor Huai looked at the emperor ranking that appeared in the Dao galaxy and the trembling Dao main star. He was a little confused for a moment. It was just them. All the powerful G-Dao who were paying attention to the Dao galaxy felt that it's extremely weird. It's clear that Yang Hao's road to invincibility has ended, but there is another avenue main star projecting. Ha 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 ha, interesting. It was you who came. Can everything be settled today? Unlike others, Yang Hao was extremely excited at the moment. He stared at the main avenue star that was constantly shaking. The second. The owner of this main avenue star, Yang Hao, was extremely familiar with it. Dong Huang, big star, Huang. This is the protagonist's enemy that he fears the most. Ever since he came to this world, he has been destined to face the enemy directly. Originally, Yang Hao thought it would take a long time, but he never thought that he would be able to face Huang directly so soon. To end everything. This made Yang Hao not only devoid of any fear, but also ignited endless excitement. I am in a treasure place and cannot come in person. I'll give you a punch and make interest first. But at the next moment, Dao Galaxy, after the second main star of Dao, trembled, an indifferent voice came. Then, Dao Galaxy suddenly shattered as if it had been completely evaporated. A fist, carrying the power of creating the world, burst from that star projected from the main star of the avenue. The target, Yang Hao. The power, far exceeds Zhang Tianyu's combat power. I took away the villain's son. Author, the great Onmyoji. Chapter 246. Far exceeds Zhang Tianyu's combat power. What is the concept? Zhang Tianyu is a great saint. Standard quasi-emperor combat power. This punch came from the depths of the Dao Galaxy, but it was extremely terrifying. Yang Hao's whole body tensed up in an instant, and his divine body that had just been sublimated to the extreme bloomed with divine light. The great desolate sword, the Jingshen sect, the Wei Tower, and the three extremely powerful imperial weapons suddenly appeared in Yundong, trying to help Yang Hao block this punch. But Yang Hao forcibly took back all three Dao imperial weapons. He also threw a punch. The energy and spirit have jumped to the extreme. The 6 avenues were all injected into his body, and the prehistoric killing array evolved around Yang Hao, and he punched out. The opponent just came with a punch, and Yang Hao, who had just broken through and was at his peak, was naturally not willing to show weakness. Punch to punch. His punch instantly collided with a punch coming from the depths of the galaxy, and exploded instantly. Boom. Muffled sounds suddenly came from the void one after another. The Dao Galaxy was torn apart. Again and again. Just the moment Yang Hao collided with this punch, the Dao Galaxy was torn apart hundreds of times. The soaring divine light completely covered Yang Hao's figure. The sky was filled with avenues and laws. This has far exceeded the momentum of Yang Hao and any opponent before. It can be imagined how powerful the two sides who actually fought were with horror. So strong. Is this a battle between the main stars of the avenue? Who is the master of the second avenue? If Emperor Zun had not broken through and become a saint before, he might have died after this punch. The Zhoutian 10,000 stars powerhouses who originally thought they had dispersed once again focused their attention on the Dao Galaxy. The first confrontation between Yang Hao and Huang attracted worldwide attention. This punch shocked everyone subconsciously. It's really terrible. Even some quasi-emperors would be moved if someone puts themselves in it. They were shocked to find that they would fall into it. 2 monsters. It's a pity that this battle only ended with one punch. The two of them will have a shocking battle in the future. This is the main star of this era. Under everyone's shocked attention, the aftermath of Dao Xing gradually dissipated. After the glory ended, Yang Hao's figure appeared in everyone's sight. Unscathed. This punch that shocked the world did not injure Yang Hao. He stood tall and erect with unparalleled grace. The invincible road has gradually disappeared. Later, in the eyes of Zhou Ti and Wang Xing's beings who had been on the emperor's list, fonts suddenly began to appear on the golden list in the sky. Yang Hao's name appeared on the emperor list. How many places do you rank? Don't know, but it will undoubtedly be high. The higher it is, the more dangerous it is. The quasi-emperors of the Eternal Holy Land stared intently at the emperor list. The fonts on the imperial list appeared completely in the blink of an eye. These fonts are all names that shocked ancient and modern times. Some of them are kings of an era, and some of them are ultimate quasi-emperors who have been hiding for endless years and are only one step away from enlightenment. Where would I be? At this time, Yang Hao looked at the emperor list above the sky. His name had already appeared in the emperor list. As soon as the word Yang Hao appeared, it started to climb like a rocket, entering the top 300. The first 200. Under the extremely shocked eyes of many people, Yang Hao's name exceeded many people's imagination. His, number 86. He directly ranked 86th on the list for the first time. Doesn't it mean that Emperor Zun has the potential to be in the top 10 or even the first place on the God list in the future? Yes, after the advent of the Great Age, among the two most outstanding supreme geniuses, whether it was Xianyu and Kaifei or Huang, neither of them ranked as high as Emperor Zun when they first entered the God list. Ziwei Star? This emperor will now set foot on the ancient road in the starry sky to hunt and kill him. Very good. Hunting him down before he grows up will greatly help me go further on the road to enlightenment. The holy land of eternal life, the Ziwei Star, and then all the stars in the sky. One by one, the extremely powerful experts on the emperor's list walked out, their eyes fixed on the name of Yang Hao, who finally stayed at the 86th place on the emperor's list, his thoughts flickering. Some people admired it, some people were wary of it, and some people were tempted. He wanted to kill Yang Hao completely and rob him of everything. No matter what the supreme geniuses among the thousands of stars in the sky think at this moment, Yang Hao has no time to pay attention to them at this moment. He was also staring at the names on the emperor's list carefully, his eyes shining brightly. On the emperor's list, there are names one after another, shining with gold. Number 1 on the emperor list, Gu Chen. Second on the emperor list, Shihantian. 10th on the emperor list, Zhongqing. Number 17,613 on the emperor list, Guiming. Further down, there is no more. Throughout the ages, are there 17,613 living beings who have not yet attained enlightenment and who have traveled the invincible path. Yang Hao looked at the emperor list and understood. These 17,613 people seem to be a lot. But they are not. The emperor list covers all the supreme geniuses in the sky. Such as Ziwei Big Star in the world, almost most of these supreme geniuses took the path of invincibility during the Dark Ages 100,000 years ago. They all walked through ominous circumstances, and their strength and background were terrifying. In other big stars, they also each has its own history, and there are not many strong people who have completed the road to invincibility. Even before the advent of the Great World, there are still people in other stars who are walking the road to invincibility and ascending to the Emperor list. It is no exaggeration to say. Emperor the list covers all the stars in the sky, the strongest under the Emperor. Compared with the terrifying base number of thousands of stars in the sky, more than 10,000 people are really very few. Evenly distributed, even each one there is only one strong person on the Emperor list. Of course, this calculation is definitely wrong. Some big stars are deserts of cultivation, and the strongest ones cannot even become saints. Big stars such as Ziwei and Donghuang are full of strong people. Under the long river of time, many supreme geniuses were born. First, Gu Chen. I have never seen this person in the Dao galaxy. He should be an antique from an unknown number of eras, the first person under the great emperor. Yang Hao silently glanced at the first person on the imperial list and remembered it in his heart. He knew that this was the goal he would surpass in the future. Before he attains enlightenment, the number 1 spot on the emperor list will definitely belong to him. Not just number 1 on the emperor list. Xianyuan seeks to feed. Below, in the 7th place, the name of the first avenue star is clearly listed. Ranked 58th. It seems that being dug out of the supreme immortal bone did not affect him. In other big stars, Huang has already walked the road of invincibility. Yang Hao set his sights on the emperor list, his eyes shining. He had just fought against Huang for the first time, and he had already confirmed his previous guess. Huang was his eternal enemy. This protagonist's enemy was more powerful than any enemy he had ever seen. Even more terrifying. The 58th position on the emperor ranking does not mean that Huang can only be at the 58th position, but it means that he has hunted down the 58th one on the original emperor ranking and replaced him. As for his first appearance on the emperor ranking, in what ranking, Yang Hao ranks second. Although I don't know, he must be more confident than him. I look forward to fighting with you in the future. Yang Hao took a deep breath and watched as the golden light gradually faded away after his name appeared on the emperor's list. The invincible road completely disappeared, the emperor's list disappeared, and this grand event finally came to an end. At this moment, the great Dao galaxy also began to slowly dissipate. In the eyes of Zhou Tianxingchen, Yang Hao's magnificent figure gradually disappeared. Yang Hao slowly walked down from the sky tower. We have met the Holy Lord. Suddenly, the Holy Land of Eternal Life bowed down, and Zhongwu said calmly. Everyone was waking up from a dream. With Yang Hao becoming a saint, the destiny of the Holy Lord has become a reality, and Yang Hao will directly become the Holy Lord of the Holy Land of Eternal Life. Not only the Holy Lord is so simple. Yang Hao is most likely one of the most powerful Holy Lords in the history of the Eternal Holy Land. However, he has just become a saint and has quasi-emperor combat power, and no one dares to provoke him. We have met the Holy Lord. The ancient dragon saint, the Qin saint, and the Lord Longshan also spoke respectfully. The other saints from the Eternal Holy Land also followed suit. I have seen the Holy Lord. Huai Emperor and Blood Emperor, the three quasi-emperors of the Eternal Holy Land, also looked at Yang Hao seriously and said. Now that Yang Hao has become a saint, he has quasi-emperor combat power. Even if it is not as good as them, Yang Hao can borrow the ultimate Dao. Imperial soldiers, to unleash the full power of the Supreme Imperial soldiers, they also need to recognize Yang Hao and negotiate with him on an equal footing. No need to be polite. When Yang Hao saw this scene, he was also stunned and said immediately. The ceremony cannot be abolished. You have become the Holy Lord, and the Holy Lord ceremony will also be held on a selected date. At that time, you will receive the inheritance of the Holy Land over the years from the Holy Lord, as well as the benefits that the Holy Lord should receive. At this moment Zhongwu walked out seriously and said to Yang Hao. There was relief and emotion in her eyes. Zhongwu has always believed in Yang Hao, but she never thought that Yang Hao would grow up so fast. In the blink of an eye, Yang Hao has become a saint and the Holy Lord of the Eternal Holy Land. Good. When Yang Hao saw Zhongwu calling him the Holy Lord, he felt magical for a moment. He still remembered that before he came to this world, he always called the Holy Lord to Zhongwu. But he never thought that as time passed by, now it would be his turn. Until Zhongwu called herself the Holy Lord. I have become a saint now. Although I am only a quasi-saint, my combat power should have already overwhelmed my aunt. Let's give her a surprise at the Holy Lord ceremony. Yang Hao looked at Zhongwu's figure and his heart moved. He still remembered what he said to Zhongwu. Now, the time has come. I took away the villain's son. Author, the Great Onmyoji. Chapter 247. Wait. Just when everyone in the Holy Land of Eternal Life was about to disperse, Yang Hao suddenly heard a gentle voice. Lord Longshan. Yang Hao looked at this man with a generous figure, and saw that the man smiled and nodded to Yang Hao, but turned to Zhongwu and said, Elder Zhang, the Holy Lord ceremony can be slowed down a little. Oh. Zhongwu looked at Lord Longshan and said with some surprise, Longshan, do you want to compete with Emperor Zun for the position of Holy Lord? I don't dare. Although I have passed through the 9 tribulations of heaven and humanity, compared with junior brother Emperor, the gap is between Zhengui and Haoyu. The Lord Longshan shook his head quickly and denied directly. In the Holy Lord ceremony, the Holy Lord will inherit the destiny of the Holy Land of eternal life and receive many benefits. I have a method that can increase the luck of the Holy Land in a short period of time. At that time, convening the Holy Lord ceremony will be of great benefit to junior brother Emperor Zun. After hearing what Lord Longshan said, Zhongwu's eyes lit up. She looked at Lord Longshan and said, "Is this true?" Only those who have truly become holy lords will know what Lord Longshan means by these words. Right. Lord Longshan nodded with a smile and said, "Junior brother Emperor, becoming the Holy Master of the Eternal Holy Land will be the beginning of the great prosperity of the Eternal Holy Land. Originally, I prepared this method for myself. Now it is only for junior brother Emperor Zun. The only drawback is that you have to wait a while." Lord Longshan was a little regretful. Zhongwu didn't mind, and asked, "How long will it take?" "Soon, it will only take a few decades. I have to collect some materials and need to go deep into many dangerous places." The words of Lord Longshan made other powerful people in the Holy Land of Eternal Life understand it won't be long. This matter can be discussed. "That's fine too." Yang Hao smiled. He didn't know much about the so-called Holy Lord ceremony, but he believed in Zhongwu's decision. He also had a good impression of Lord Longshan, so he didn't say much. "Then please ask junior brother Daizun to wait for my news. I will take the time to prepare." Lord Longshan said to Yang Hao with a smile. His attitude was extremely sincere. "Thank you, brother Longshan." Yang Hao also responded with a chuckle. After chatting with Lord Longshan for a few more words, Yang Hao chatted with Gu Longsheng, Qin Sheng, Huai Emperor and others for a while, then left here and returned to Yaoguang Immortal Peak with Zhongwu. Go. However, I will also be practicing in seclusion these days. This time, he may be in seclusion until the Quasi-Emperor comes out. At this moment, Zhongwu suddenly said to Yang Hao, "Why did you suddenly have to be in seclusion for so long?" "To the Quasi-Emperor, will it be after the Holy Lord ceremony?" When Yang Hao heard this, he looked at Zhongwu in surprise. He thought that Zhongwu must have been stimulated to say this because of his rapid improvement in strength. "No delay. Before the Holy Lord ceremony, I will become a Quasi-Emperor." Zhongwu looked at Yang Hao with a smile and said. Zhongwu's eyes made Yang Hao's heart tremble and asked, "How can Ant be so confident?" For a sage to become a Quasi-Emperor, it is not something that can be accomplished with just 2 sentences. Although Zhongwu is already unparalleled among the sages, if Yang Hao remembers correctly, Zhongwu entered the sage realm not long ago. How could this happen? Suddenly he said with great confidence that he would break through the sages and become a Quasi-Emperor. He. Zhongwu chuckled lightly and said, "It's not because of you, little guy. Because Yang Hao was stunned and came over. "Now that I have become a saint, my relationship with my guardian is also. Could it be that you got great benefits from this?" Yang Hao looked at Zhongwu seriously and guessed. "Good. The benefits I have gained from protecting your path are too great. I am now overwhelmed by endless luck, and my mind is filled with epiphanies. Luck is also driving my cultivation all the time." Zhongwu nodded and did not cover up. "So, for the best." Yang Hao was also very happy when he heard this. Although Zhongwu said that she had taken advantage of it, only Yang Hao knew that without Zhongwu, even if there was a system, he would not have achieved what he is today so quickly. In the past, it was a pity, thinking that he had received too many benefits and Zhongwu had received too little. Now that Zhongwu had received huge benefits because of him, he was naturally happy for Zhongwu. "During these days, my aunt has been practicing hard, striving to break through to the Quasi-Emperor as soon as possible," Yang Hao said to Zhongwu. "That's natural. Auntie doesn't want you to protect me," Zhongwu said to Yang Hao. "Okay, you just broke through to Quasi-Sage, so you should go back to practice and digest it. This is what my aunt has prepared for you." She is in retreat these days and should have no time to take care of you. If you understand it yourself, it will be of great benefit to your practice in the saint realm. Zhang Wu suddenly shot a divine light towards Yang Hao. This is. Yang Hao took the divine light, and as soon as he probed into it, he understood. This divine light was filled with all kinds of cultivation and experiences of Zhang Wu in the realm of saints. There is no doubt that the things in the jade slips are content is priceless and of immeasurable value. Go ahead. Zhang Wu said to Yang Hao with a smile. Kindness. However, and. What's wrong? Don't call me little guy next time, I'm not little anymore. Good. Zhang Wu laughed dumbly when she heard this, and then she looked at Yang Hao's disappearing back with a sense of sadness. Sister, did you ever think that Hao would grow up so fast, and he would surpass me in the blink of an eye, and he should not be as far away from you as he was back then? Far. Yang Hao returned to Yaoguang Immortal Peak and fell into practice. Zhang Wu was right. He had just broken through to the realm of saint, and he indeed had too many things to summarize. I am not a true saint yet, but a quasi-sage. Feeling the earth-shaking changes in his body, Yang Hao has a clear understanding of his current cultivation level. The immortal matter in his body has not been completely transformed. Only after the immortal matter is completely transformed, can he truly saint. Before the immortal golden body was formed, he could only be regarded as a quasi-sage. If you want to transform from a quasi-sage to a saint, it seems simple. You only need to condense the immortal golden body, but it is not that simple. The transformation speed of immortal matter is too slow, that is to say, I have the help of the system. Otherwise, given that I still have tens of thousands of immortal substances to transform into immortal matter, it will take at least tens of thousands of years to truly transform into a saint. Yang Hao sensed within his body that he could transform immortal matter at an extremely fast speed. However, if his own system was removed, the transformation speed would be even faster than a tortoise speed. Earned 950 million points for View the Sea of Aura. Earned 630 million points for Summary Yourself. Fortunately, after my realm improves, the points I get also start to increase, and the speed of transforming immortal matter will become faster and faster. I wonder if I can become a saint before the Holy Lord ceremony. After sighing with emotion, Yang Hao once again focused his attention on the changes in his body. After becoming a saint, his divine body was extremely sublimated. It was not only the immortal golden body, but also many changes. Among them the biggest change. Yang Hao's eyes moved, and 6 avenues surged out instantly. Oneness. 6 special avenues entered his body instantly, and his breath became endless and huge. This is why saints are powerful. In harmony with the Tao, true control over the Tao. Although I have been able to control Tao before, it is better to control it than to control it. Now, I can integrate the Tao into one body, everything I do is true, and I can speak the Dharma at all times. This is the true control of the Tao. Yang Hao felt that he was being fused by 6 special avenues. His strength became stronger than words can describe. It is precisely in this way that he was able to exert the power of the Ji-Dao Emperor's weapons far beyond what he had before. It is precisely because of this that he was able to finally use his strength to suppress Zhang Tianyu, with a powerful punch. Although I have just reached the first level of quasi-saint heaven, my combat power should now be able to reach the second or even third level of quasi-emperor heaven. Yang Hao made an estimate. Although he didn't know Zhang Tianyu's combat power, Zhang Wu told him afterwards that the opponent was not a quasi-emperor, but a great sage. Although the great sage did not have the 9 tribulations of heaven and man and was free and easy, his actual strength but it cannot be compared with the truly powerful quasi-emperor. Zhang Tianyu's strength is only about the second level of the quasi-emperor. This is what Zhang Wu told him. In addition, the biggest change after becoming a saint is that I have control over the power of deduction. The so-called deduction, the saints call it omniscience and omnipotence with one thought. As long as there is a large amount of information, the saint can rely on the harmony between heaven, earth, and Tao to deduce the truth. Exerting omniscience and omnipotence with one thought requires paying a high price. And if the other party is also a saint, they can be forcibly blocked. Generally speaking, omniscience and omnipotence are mainly used for treasure hunting. There are some that are the same as the revelation of destiny. Yang Hao felt that one thought was omniscient and omnipotent, and he probably understood the skill of the saint. As for the other path after sanctification, cause and effect. Yang Hao narrowed his eyes. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. I took away the villain's son. Author, the great Onmyoji. Chapter 248. Yang Hao had heard about it a long time ago. Sages talk about cause and effect. He always didn't understand. The so-called cause and effect, of course, is nothing but trouble. As long as the thoughts are clear, why bother talking about it? Now that he has become a saint, he understands it completely. The holy realm is already the ultimate that human race can reach. If you want to break through from the holy realm and become a quasi-emperor, you must cut off everything before you can let heaven and earth bless you and fit you. Cause and effect comes into being because of this principle. This is a mysterious truth, and it is a practice system that has existed in this world for endless years. Fortunately, I am only a quasi-sage now. I only have a concept of cause and effect, but I have not yet reached the point where cause and effect manifests itself. If you want to talk about cause and effect, I'm afraid you need to reach the realm of a true saint before you need to pay attention to it. Yang Hao shook his head. He remembered that when he was transforming into a little girl in the true realm divine formation, he had received advice. After he reached the realm of a saint, the world would most likely owe him a huge cause and effect. Now it seems that, it also needs to reach the realm of true saints before it can appear. This is the power of the saint. Yang Hao took a deep breath and withdrew his thoughts from Zhongwu's jade slip. But he muttered to himself, unfortunately, I am countless times more powerful than the saint my aunt said. A smile appeared at the corner of his mouth. His family knew about his family affairs. Only he knew what kind of transformation he had undergone after becoming a saint. The biggest difference between him and all the saints was that before he became a saint, he had a total of 6 avenues were condensed in advance. Of these 6 avenues, except for the first 5 elements avenue, which was condensed by chance, the other 5 avenues were all formed by condensing the ultimate invincible Dao heart at the end, and then combined with the power of the system. In the end, during the battle with Zhang Tianyu, all of them reached the shackles. Then, under the influence of the supreme immortal bone, they instantly ignored the shackles and evolved. It can be said that what I did was unprecedented and no one could replicate it. Perhaps, my Taoist heart cannot even be called the ultimate and invincible Taoist heart, but should be called the ultimate, supreme, and invincible Taoist heart. Yang Hao sensed the Taoist heart in his body. The Taoist heart was as bright as a diamond. There were 1,000 breaths connected to the law barrier, greedy and endless, helping him absorb the space laws and time laws of the virtual space. Enter the body system, and then continuously consume points to gain crazy insights. Looking at the sea of spiritual energy in the body, the 3 supreme laws, the law of time and the law of space, are growing at a speed visible to the naked eye. The law of time has been transformed as the source, the law of space has also been transformed from the divine will into the divine gate, and it is only one step away from becoming the source. Only the law of fate, because it is scarce in the world, only relies on the chatting and insights in the body, and grows extremely slowly. Once it becomes a source, it is not far away from the ultimate and the shackles. Can a saint control the avenue of time? Yang Hao murmured to himself, the avenue created by the supreme law. Whether it is the avenue of time, space, or destiny, it must be extremely powerful. So far, he has never encountered an existence that controls one of the three supreme avenues. However, this is all my own background. What really brought me benefits were the 6 avenues that were created in advance. Yang Hao set his sights on the sea of spiritual energy again. He could clearly see that between the 6 quiet avenues of the sea of spiritual energy, there were lines of emptiness appearing. He was very familiar with these scents. It was the first step that he took when he was in the giant realm and just realized the law. Yes, at this moment, the 10th and 11th laws have been born in his body due to the crazy absorption and enlightenment of the supreme and invincible Taoist heart and system. 9 is the ultimate number. Master, whether you are a saint or you can only control the 9 avenues, you have completely created a miracle. At this time, Yunyan's shocking voice came slowly. She could also see about 6 changes in Yang Hao's body. Those illusory breaths were clearly laws. But Yang Hao had already understood the 9 laws, just like as Yunyan said, 9 is the ultimate number. Both saints and quasi-emperors in this world can only control 9 avenues. But Yang Hao broke this common sense. In his body, more laws were born. Once the laws being born and evolving into a great avenue may be difficult for others, but for Yang Hao, it is just a matter of time. By then, he will control more than 9 great avenues. This completely breaks the common sense. Among the thousands of stars in the sky, there has never been one. I have never heard of anyone being able to control more than 9 avenues before the great emperor. I don't know how many laws will eventually be born. Yang Hao looked at the sea of spiritual energy in his body at this moment. He didn't know how many laws could be born this time. Looking at it now, it was either that he controlled the 6 avenues before becoming a saint, or that the upper limit of the 6 laws was correspondingly increased. Yang Hao easily saw that the laws surrounding the avenue were different. For example, on the 5 elements avenue, 5 illusory laws aura were born on the left and right, which were exactly the same as metal, wood, water, fire, and earth. As for the avenue of reincarnation, the left and right auras of illusory laws were born. There are 4 illusory laws, namely life, death, light, and darkness. Just these 2 avenues have given birth to more than 6 laws, reaching as many as 9, not to mention the number of laws around other avenues. I look forward to the blessing of my combat power after it evolves into a great avenue. It's a pity that every one of them is a gold-eating beast, and my points can't withstand such burning. Yang Hao glanced at the system and shook his head with some regret. The points that were originally as high as mountains and seas, as if they were astronomical figures, have been completely drained since he started, and cannot grow at all. It's not that you get too little, it's that you consume too much. Yang Hao looked at the system income record with a smile, feeling a little helpless. Received 610 million points for laughing silently. Obtained 1,030 million points due to the law of Tao heart enlightenment. In just a moment, he had already obtained more than 1 billion points. But who could have imagined that as soon as these more than 1 billion points appeared, they would be completely extracted by the supreme and invincible Dao heart, which was equivalent to opening 1,000 times of automatic enlightenment. Not to mention that he is still turning on the automatic transformation of immortal matter, which is also another major expenditure for madly devouring points. You can't practice boringly. After you have stabilized your quasi-sage realm, you need to find something to do. Yang Hao thought. He is very clear about the income rules of points. If he just sits and practices, the points can certainly increase. But unless he practices for a long time or breaks through the realm, it is impossible to get a huge amount of points in a short time. If you want to get huge amounts of points, you still need to take risks and fight. Let's continue to study my aunt's jade slips. Yang Hao settled down and continued to study the saint's notes given to him by Zhang Wu. Time passed, and several months passed in the blink of an eye. On this day, Yang Hao suddenly set his sights on the prehistoric killing array in his sea of spiritual energy. Yunyin, according to my aunt's notes, has my prehistoric killing array begun to evolve into the world? He suddenly asked Yunyin. Yunyin was silent for a moment. Yang Hao said yes. For ordinary saints, even if they reach the realm of saints, the killing array cannot completely transform into a small world. Just like the Onling saint in the past, this was the case. But now, not long after Yang Hao has just broken through to the quasi-sage, the primordial killing formation has begun to evolve towards the small world under the nourishment of various avenues. It's really beyond words. My aunt's notes are very detailed. When the killing array begins to evolve into a small world, it is the time when qualitative changes are most likely to occur. At this time, if a large amount of precious materials can be added, the power of the small world can be enhanced. Yang Hao now turned to the sage notes left by Zhongwu to the part about the formation of the small world. Obviously, Zhongwu had anticipated in advance that Yang Hao was very likely to form the small world, so she had already left a lot of information and experience. I see. Yang Hao finally understood after careful study. Although the primordial killing formation is extremely powerful and contains endless rare divine materials, it can still successfully evolve the small world even without adding new divine objects. But as the saying goes, the more the merrier. It is naturally the best to make the great desolate killing formation more powerful. Just as Yang Hao was thinking about going to the eternal Holy Land to find divine objects to nourish the prehistoric killing formation, a hurried voice came. Master, it's not good. Lu Yan's voice reached Yang Hao's ears. Don't panic, what's wrong? Yang Hao squinted his eyes, looked at Lu Yan and said casually. The second elder sent a message that someone came from the ancient road in the starry sky and had arrived at the holy land of eternal life. Oh? Did the supreme prodigy from the emperor's list come to attack and kill me? Yang Hao thought about it, but felt something was wrong. If he was to attack and kill him, he would be in the holy land of eternal life now. With the foundation of the holy land of eternal life, it is impossible for anyone to dare to come directly. No. Sure enough, Lu Yan's voice came again. She said the visitor calls himself the Zhang family of Donghuang Great Star. The purpose of coming here is to change the owner and put the projected body of Zhang Tianyu away. I took away the villain's son. Author, the Great Onmyoji. Chapter 249. Donghuang Zhang Family. Yang Hao raised his eyebrows and his eyes became sharp. Interesting, but I forgot about him. It turns out that the projection has not disappeared yet. That day, Wudai fought against Zhang Tianyu at his peak and achieved a breakthrough to become a saint. He borrowed the Jingshen sect and imprisoned Zhang Tianyu's projection into the Jingshen section. Yang Hao originally thought it was just a projection and should have dissipated long ago. Yes. I never thought that Jingshen sect, the ultimate imperial weapon, would be so magical. Since there are people from the Zhang family in Donghuang, it must be because Zhang Tianyu's projection is still in Jingshen sect. Let's go. Meet this alien visitor for a while. Yang Hao smiled and stood up. He followed Lu Yan and left together, heading towards the place where the Zhang family members were. The powerful men of the extreme path who came from the Zhang family in Donghuang via the ancient road in the starry sky were now welcoming them at the holy land of eternal life. On top of the fairy peak of guests. Are you the emperor? He is also a powerful man who is famous all over the sky and thousands of stars. Even though I have been waiting for a long time, he is still missing. When Yang Hao came to this immortal peak, the second elder was receiving the extremely powerful man. This man has white hair and a vast aura. He is a quasi-emperor. After seeing Yang Hao at this moment, the white-haired quasi-emperor of the Zhang family calmly spoke to Yang Hao and taught him a lesson. Second elder, how come you let all the cats and dogs into my holy place of eternal life? Banish him. Yang Hao glanced at the white-haired quasi-emperor who came across the ancient road across the starry sky and said casually. He. I think you must have heard what Emperor Zun meant. Emperor Zun is now the lord of my eternal holy land. His words mean the eternal holy land. Please leave. When the second elder heard this, he chuckled and said to the white-haired quasi-emperor of the Zhang family. Presumptuous. This person from the Zhang family, a quasi-emperor, has never been so humiliated. He originally just reprimanded him casually, but he didn't expect that the other party would be so arrogant. He didn't even say the main topic, and was going to expel him. He suddenly became angry and exploded terror and coercion. I am here to send goodwill to your eternal holy land. All I ask is for you to let go of the projection of the heaven. You are like this, but you are bringing trouble to your doorstep, and you don't know that it is about to cause a huge disaster. Just wait for the disaster to come. The white-haired quasi-emperor of the Zhang family turned red with anger. He snorted coldly at the second elder and Yang Hao, and was about to walk away. Wait. At this time, Yang Hao spoke lightly and said to the white-haired quasi-emperor. How? Do you regret it? Late. Even if you want to know something now, it's too late. If you release Tianyu, my Zhang family will also target you. This is your punishment just now. The white-haired quasi-emperor had a sneer on his face, as if he knew Yang Hao would regret it, and said calmly from above. When Yang Hao heard this, he looked at the white-haired quasi-emperor like an idiot, and he said word by word, are you? What's the misunderstanding? When did a strong man from an alien planet dare to come to my holy land of eternal life and act so arrogantly? You can come when you want and leave when you want. Who do you think you are? When Yang Hao finished speaking, a shadow with a terrifying aura suddenly appeared in his hand. The Jidao Emperor weapon. The Great Desolate Sword. This Jidao Emperor weapon, after he became a saint, became much more docile than before. It was extremely powerful. Part of the time can be easily controlled by him, and there is no longer a risk of losing control, as if surrendering to him. What you up to? Be bold. The white-haired quasi-emperor did not relent as he expected. Instead, he was shocked when Yang Hao released the Jidao Emperor's soldiers at every turn. Zhangju, don't you care about this kid? He is in danger. The white-haired quasi-emperor looked at the second elder next to Yang Hao. His beard and hair were spread out, and said coldly. Ouch. My eternal holy land has never been afraid of anyone in Zhiwei Star. Who do you Zhang family think? Do you really think you are so arrogant just because you have some blood connection with your aunt? Here. It is the holy land of eternal life. He is respected. When the second elder heard this, he sneered. He stretched out his slender hand and pointed at Yang Hao, laughing and scolding without caring. Damn it! The white-haired quasi-emperor never would have turned out like this. The Zhang family is one of the most powerful families in the eastern wilderness star. He is used to doing whatever he wants. How has he ever suffered such humiliation? But the elder's words reminded him. This was indeed not the eastern wilderness star. He suddenly remembered that the Holy Land of Eternal Life was also a first-class terrorist force on the Zhiwei star. Although in his eyes, it was far inferior to the Zhang family. Now, he is just alone. He seemed to have overlooked something just now. Once you're here, don't leave. It happened. At this time, Yang Hao spoke calmly, and the next moment the great desolate sword burst out with illusory fluctuations of fate. The law of fate surged into the great desolate sword in an instant. Not good. The white-haired quasi-emperor's expression changed drastically, and he immediately disappeared from the spot. Although he had seen Yang Hao's combat power through the Dao galaxy before, he never expected that the other party would be so unscrupulous. If the Wuji Dao Emperor soldiers, the white-haired quasi-emperor the emperor naturally thought that he could suppress Yang Hao. However, not only did the opponent have it, This was the Holy Land of eternal life. The number of Jidao Emperor soldiers that Yang Hao could use was far beyond his imagination. And the white-haired quasi-emperor, although he was a quasi-emperor body, but there are no Jidao Emperor soldiers. This is too normal. When Yang Hao was walking on the invincible road before, he was able to encounter many Jidao Emperor soldiers. That was because most of his opponents were within his own sphere of influence. It is relatively easy for the geniuses who are qualified to be Yang Hao's opponents to temporarily borrow the Jidao Emperor's weapons in the Holy Land. However, now the white-haired quasi-emperor has traveled far away from the ancient road in the starry sky, from the eastern wilderness star to Ziwei. How could Big Star be carrying the Jidao Emperor's soldiers with him? With such ability, he wouldn't have come alone. Boom! The sword came out to kill. The white-haired quasi-emperor bled on the spot. You have completely offended the Zhang family. You're done. You are in for a disaster. The white-haired quasi-emperor was seriously injured by the great desolate sword. He immediately ran away and headed towards the nine heavens. He wanted to escape. Escape from this eternal holy land where he sits in a well and looks at the sky without knowing what is good or bad. I am the Lord of the Holy Land of eternal life, and today I will kill the quasi-emperor of the Zhang family, the great star of the eastern wilderness, at the Chaoyang Immortal Peak. Chaoyang Immortal Peak is the place where the eternal Holy Land receives guests. When Yang Hao finished speaking, the 6 avenues surged into his body instantly. One sword cut through hundreds of millions of miles. Above the 9 heavens, a quasi-emperor figure suddenly shed blood again, and was the great desolate sword inflicts heavy damage and kills. Great formation starts. Help the Holy Lord to kill the enemy. Hearing Yang Hao's voice, figures of powerful men walked out one after another. If you invade my eternal Holy Land, you will be killed without mercy. Every figure burst out with an extremely terrifying aura. In the Holy Land of eternal life, the heavenly splendor also bloomed. How could a place with such rich heritage like the Holy Land of eternal life not have a large array arranged? Not only does it exist, but it has been arranged for endless years. I don't know how dense it is. Ziwei star has never been a weak star in cultivation. It has countless strong people who are born continuously. The Holy Land of eternal life is the most terrifying force in Ziwei star. It comes from an alien star. So what about the quasi-emperor? As long as you dare to enter the Holy Land of eternal life, don't even think about leaving. Today, don't say it's the white-haired quasi-emperor of the Zhang family. Even Gu Chen, who is number 1 on the emperor list, dares to. If you act recklessly in the Holy Land of life, you will be killed on the spot by the Holy Land of eternal life. You are certain to die. You can't even imagine the anger of the Zhang family. The quasi-emperor in white was above the 9 heavens, suppressed by the Taoist formations of the eternal Holy Land, and could not escape at all. He roared repeatedly, never expecting that what seemed to him to be an extremely simple task would eventually turn out like this. But his roar and the threat did not become a bargaining chip for his survival, but accelerated his fall. From the beginning, the white-haired quasi-emperor completely misjudged the situation. Today, the quasi-emperor died. Yang Hao's calm voice came. He walked out slowly, and struck the white-haired quasi-emperor with one strike after another with the great desolate sword. The breath of the white-haired quasi-emperor was wiped out by madness. No matter how much he roared, it was of no avail. In full view of everyone next, Yang Hao completely killed the white-haired quasi-emperor. When the white-haired quasi-emperor fell, although the world trembled, no blood clouds condensed. This is very normal. The fall of a saint is due to the decline of the fortune of the Ziwei star. Therefore, there will be blood clouds gathering, and the sky will cry. But the white-haired quasi-emperor comes from the eastern wilderness star. Even if this person is the first quasi-emperor to fall after the arrival of Ziwei star, so what? He is dead. Die in vain. Holy Lord, mighty. Holy Lord, domineering. At this time, disciples and elders appeared one after another below the holy land of eternal life. They roared crazily and were extremely excited. They all just heard the threat from the white-haired quasi-emperor of the Zhang family, but no one felt afraid. Instead, anger welled up in my heart. The holy land of eternal life, when have you ever been afraid of threats? It has always been the holy land of eternal life that dominates one side and suppresses endless forces. A force from a distant star dares to threaten the Zhang family. They really don't know whether to live or die. Yang Hao's actions made everyone feel happy. As a quasi-sage, kill the quasi-emperor. What a feat! This is the new holy lord of their eternal holy land. Let's go to Hao's Hung to practice. This quasi-emperor's body can be considered a treasure. You can use it yourself. Yang Hao heard the voice below and said casually. His battle unexpectedly made his prestige skyrocket. Naturally, he did not hesitate to be kind and generous in order to win over people's hearts. After Yang Hao gave the order, he immediately disappeared from everyone's sight. He returned to Yao Guangxian Peak, and with a touch of his hand, Jing Shenmin appeared. Zhang Tianyu. Yang Hao murmured to himself. Please download the novel without underlining. I took away the villain's son. Author, the great Onmyoji. Chapter 250. Not interesting. After Yang Hao sank his mind into the Jingshen sect, he looked disappointed. Since he borrowed the Jingshen sect, the incarnations of the 5 great emperors who were originally in the Jingshen sect have disappeared without a trace, as if they did not exist in the Jingshen sect. It is not difficult to understand. The emperor is willing to discuss friendship with his peers, but he will never be driven by him. The Jingshen gate is borrowed, so they will naturally not show up. However, Yang Hao can find the remains of the Yongsheng emperor at any time. So he didn't care. Now he was checking Jingshen sect, naturally to check Zhang Tianyu's status. He originally thought that if Zhang Tianyu's strength was similar to before after being suppressed by Jingshen sect, then he could try to use transformation into Wei Tower might make him a good dog. But what Yang Hao didn't expect was that Zhang Tianyu had become a walking corpse under the punishment of Jingshen section. He had no consciousness at all and was just a dog. Waste projection. However, after Yang Hao thought about it, he could understand it. When he entered the Jingshen sect and survived the 9 tribulations of heaven and man, he was extremely dangerous and almost collapsed completely. This Zhang Tianyu was imprisoned in the Jingshen sect. What he has experienced is probably even more terrifying than what he has experienced. Master, the reason why the white-haired quasi-emperor of the Zhang family wants you to put this projection back is probably because if Zhang Tianyu loses consciousness, his strength will be much weakened. Yunyan said to Yang Hao. Yeah, but I've already robbed him of his luck, so there's no big use for him anymore. The great sage is nothing more than that. Yang Hao looked at the walking dead Zhang Tianyu in front of him with little interest. He did not kill Zhang Tianyu's projection. He killed this projection and might have fulfilled the Zhang family's wish. There is no doubt that he and the Zhang family have become mortal enemies. Zhang Tianyu, it's just that the projection was suppressed by him and his luck was robbed by him, but he still had the fighting power of the great saint. Yang Hao was very happy to be able to contain the strength of a great saint from the Zhang family. Speaking of which, how is Xiao Qing'er? Yang Hao suddenly asked Yunyan. Xiao Qing'er? It should almost be transformed by the Wei Pagoda. After hearing Yang Hao's news, Yunyan immediately responded. Go check it out. When Yang Hao heard this, his heart moved, and his mind immediately sank into the Wei Tower. It has been a long time since Xiao Qing'er was suppressed. As Yunyan said, Xiao Qing'er has almost been completely transformed. 3 days at most. Looking at Xiao Qing'er's condition in front of him, Yang Hao made an estimate. But looking at the increasingly scarce divine light in Wei Tower gave Yang Hao a headache. These days, he has also given orders to collect the souls. The power of the eternal Holy Land has collected many divine souls, but not many of them are of high quality. These days, there is not really much replenishment of the divine light of transformation. Let's wait for news about the eternal Emperor Yang Hao regretted. He started practicing again, and 3 days later he suddenly opened his eyes. The master has completely transformed. Yunyan's voice came. Very good. Yang Hao's eyes lit up and he looked towards the Wei Tower. Sure enough, Xiao Qing'er was already standing very obediently, and there was no longer the resentment in his eyes that originally looked at him. Met the owner. Sensing that Yang Hao was looking over, Xiao Qing'er immediately said with great respect. Well, tell me all your secrets. When Yang Hao saw Xiao Qing'er acting so well behaved, he felt a sense of satisfaction in his heart. A destined protagonist was applauded by Wang Yuan like this. From now on, he can do whatever he wants Xiao Qing'er to do. What to do? This sense of control made him very satisfied. After being completely transformed, Xiao Qing'er naturally hesitated and revealed all her secrets. Oh! Did Xiao Qing'er ever promise to avenge you and build a body for you? Xiao Qing'er, as the protagonist of destiny, has many secrets. As she gradually told Yang Hao one by one, Yang Hao asked Yunyan. Well, report back to the master. Yes. But that was already in the past, and Yunyan was very satisfied to be able to accompany his master. Yunyan immediately responded. Haha, if Xiao Qing'er can do it, then I can naturally do it too. If you have time in the future, you can walk on the ancient road of the starry sky and go to Shuanyun Star to wipe out the enemy for you. Yang Hao said calmly. With his current strength, just killing a saint is really not too simple. Thank you, master. Yunyan said excitedly after hearing this. She turned into a ghost state, and there is no doubt that what she hates most is her close friend who betrayed her. Originally, she thought there was no hope of revenge, but she didn't want to get Yang Hao's promise now, knowing that Yang Hao Yunyan, who is now powerful, is of course very excited. As for rebuilding your body, I'm not very good at it, but it doesn't matter, I will ask you about it in the future, Yang Hao said casually again. Yunyan helped him a lot, although it was because of his transformation. It was because of this that Yang Hao had already regarded Yunyan as one of his own. He has always been very tolerant to his own people. Thank you, master, but Yunyan wants to accompany master like this all the time. He. No need to refuse. With the body, you can better accompany me. Yang Hao said to Yunyan with a smile. Well, I understand, master. Yunyan will dress you up at that time. Yunyan blushed when she heard this and said timidly. Yang Hao was dumbfounded, that was not his intention. But he didn't bother to explain too much, it was harmless. Thank you, master, for thinking of Sister Yunyan. Xiao Qing'er immediately said to Yang Hao at this moment. She and Yunyan are like sisters, otherwise she would not associate with the foreign race. For Yunyan, she just wants to snatch Yunyan back from Yang Hao. Now she has been transformed by Yang Hao, and she has been transformed by Yang Hao. The past is gone, and she meets Yunyan again. Now that she hears Yang Hao say this, she is naturally extremely grateful. Kindness. Yang Hao looked at Xiao Qing'er and said lightly, from what you said, is there any mystery in the Beifang Fire God realm? Xiao Qing'er is the protagonist of destiny. There are many secrets she just told, but as always, the secrets of her weak childhood are looked down upon by Yang Hao, including the inheritance of a sage inherited by Xiao Qing'er, which is nothing more to him now. Among Xiao Qing'er's many secrets, only the opportunity of the Beifang Fire God realm can make Yang Hao a little interested. Yes. There are 3 great emperors in the Beifang Fire God realm. But my strength is not enough. I need to reach the saint level before I can fully inherit it. Xiao Qing'er respectfully told Yang Hao the major secrets she knew. Does your master know about this? Yang Hao asked again. Xiao Qing'er's master is naturally Lan Sheng. The other person was able to become a sage because he got the opportunity from the Beifang fire god realm. If Lan Shen knew about it, it is impossible to say that the opportunity had been taken advantage of first. The master doesn't know that there is a secret place there that cannot be entered by the master's opportunity, Xiao Qing'er said. That's good. Yang Hao nodded. The inheritance of the three great emperors is very attractive even to him now. Master, according to the notes left by Elder Zhang, it seems that he mentioned that one of the top materials for the evolution of the killing array in the small world is the corpse of the great emperor. At this moment, Yunyin's faint voice came. The body of the emperor. When Yang Hao heard this, his eyes suddenly brightened. When he studied the notes left by Zhongwu before, he had naturally seen what Yunyan said. But how rare is the emperor's corpse? The corpse of the Nine Nether Emperor he had seen in the past, even now, he is not sure that he can defeat it. Moreover, the corpse of the Nine Nether Emperor has already entered the ancient road of the starry sky and is missing. Strictly speaking, this corpse of the Nine Nether Emperor is kind to him. He has always been clear about grievances and grudges. Even if the corpse of the Nine Nether Emperor is still on the Zaiwei star, he will not have any thoughts. In addition, he also learned from the Hades Palace that there were other corpses buried under several dangerous places such as the Eternal Forbidden Zone. The body of the alien emperor was only incomplete. A large number of alien races were now resurrected in those dangerous places. In addition, the various dangerous places were also extremely difficult. Yang Hao had thought about it at the time, but he was still considering it. After all, these are not the only dangers he faces now. Suddenly, he heard Yunyan's reminder, but Yang Hao woke up. Before, he had only focused on the inheritance of the emperor that Xiao Qing'er said, but he subconsciously ignored what Xiao Qing'er said. Those were three emperor corpses, hidden in the Beifang fire god realm. Isn't this much more important to him now than the so-called inheritance of the emperor? Thinking of this, Yang Hao's eyes lit up. Set off immediately to the Beifang fire god realm. He made a decision immediately. His prehistoric killing array has begun to evolve into a small world, and even he doesn't know how long it will take to evolve. Because of this, Yang Hao has to race against time. Once the prehistoric killing array evolves into a small world, his combat power maybe it will rise again. Although he has become a saint and is much stronger than before, he is also on the emperor list and is coveted by many. Improving his strength is naturally a top priority. After giving instructions to Lu Yan, he sent Xiao Qing'er. After entering the Wei Tower, he took the great desolate sword from the holy land of eternal life and headed directly towards the Beifang fire god realm. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. I took away the villain's son. Author, the great Onmyoji. Chapter 251. The Beifang fire god realm is a vast and boundless world of flames. Legend has it that this place is the trace left by the Skyfire Emperor and holds endless secrets. Stretching for hundreds of millions of miles, there are wildfires burning everywhere. But because of this, endless flame creatures and special divine objects were born. In the past, it could be regarded as a dangerous place, but compared to other dangerous places, it was not very attractive to the powerful in the extreme realm. Originally, practitioners from before and after the Divine Lord realm would often come to the Beifang fire god realm to take advantage of opportunities. But later, as Xiao Qing'er triggered the opportunity of the Beifang Vulcan god realm, more emperors and quasi-sages often came to the Beifang fire god realm to look for opportunities. It's a pity that not everyone is born with great luck like Xiao Qing'er. The vast majority of people returned empty-handed, and some even stayed in this dangerous place forever, unable to return. Is this the Beifang fire god realm? Somewhat interesting. There is a very strong law of fire bred within it. Yang Hao walked out of the holy land of eternal life and came here alone. Looking at the wildfires in the Beifang fire god realm, the supreme and invincible Taoist heart in his body began to crazily absorb the law of fire here. Not long after he came here in this fierce land filled with huge amounts of fire laws, in the sea of spiritual energy in his body, a fiery red crystal burned and gave birth to. It can be considered an unexpected gain. It's just a law crystallization. Today's Yang Hao is naturally not as excited as before. While walking in the Beifang fire god realm, he asks Xiao Qing how to get to the secret realm. Just go deeper and deeper. You can reach it as long as you enter the inner domain of Beifang Vulcan domain. Back then, my master and I walked all the way to the core of the Beifang fire god realm. We originally wanted to find the alien fire, but we accidentally discovered that secret place. Xiao Qing immediately said truthfully. Oh? Can only you and your master find that secret place? No, only I have passed the test, and only I can open it. Xiao Qing's words made Yang Hao slightly nod. It seems that Lan Sheng's ability to get the opportunity in the Beifang fire god realm really depends on Xiao Qing. He is not surprised. With the protagonist, it is normal for chickens and dogs to ascend to heaven. Then let's go to the inner domain of Beifang Vulcan domain first. Yang Hao smiled and walked towards the inner territory of the Beifang fire god territory. In such a dangerous place as the Beifang fire god territory, although there are wildfires all over the place, there are sometimes divine fires that set fire to the prairie fire, and flaming creatures appear, but they no longer pose any threat to him now. However, Yang Hao did not run at a high speed. Instead, he walked slowly. When he saw a fire god or a fire creature appearing, he killed it and extracted the soul. Along the way, with his now almost invincible luck, he was walking in all directions. While deep in the Vulcan domain, a lot of souls were harvested. These souls ranged from the lowest to the king level and the highest to the immortal level. Obviously, even Yang Hao's luck against the weather did not extract a god-level soul. It was not due to Yang Hao's luck. Poor, but the beings that can give birth to god-level souls are so rare that they are pitiful. These souls are naturally used by Yang Hao to supplement the divine light in the Wei Tower. Although it cannot replenish too much, it is better than nothing. Arrive. Yang Hao was about to step into the deepest part of the Beifang fire god realm, but suddenly his scalp went numb, and a great terror filled his heart. There is an ambush. His expression changed, he stepped on his feet, shattering the space in all directions, and then retreated towards the back. He was somewhat alert, but it was useless. At this time, a misty voice suddenly appeared in the void. The next moment, the world in front of Yang Hao began to turn upside down. Endless flames densely surrounded him, and every flame was the ultimate divine fire that could burn a saint. With the help of the geographical formation of the Beifang fire god realm, Yunyin, can this divine formation be cracked? Yang Hao guessed the incoming enemy, Yi Yunyin. He was busy practicing, and his formation skills were still at the supreme level. At a glance, he couldn't see clearly what this divine formation that stirred up endless divine fire was like. You know, the supreme level formation master is enough to be called the formation master, but he still can't see through it. Needless to say, the opponent's formation skills are probably frighteningly high. Master, I'm sorry. The scale of this divine formation is astonishing, and it has been carefully arranged for at least 1,000 years. The other party came prepared. Yunyin's voice made Yang Hao's heart sink slightly. I just decided on a whim a few days ago to go to the Beifang fire god realm. There are people here who have been waiting for me for more than 1,000 years. Yang Hao's eyes were cold, and it seemed incredible, but at his level, it was very easy to figure it out. The other party probably only knew his whereabouts a few days ago, and then came to the Beifang fire god territory to wait for him. As for it is not difficult to imagine a formation that lasts for more than 1,000 years. Either the time artifact was used to slow down the time in the Beifang fire god realm at a very high speed, and 1,000 years were laid out here in a few days. But a time artifact of this level is extremely precious. The value is no less than a piece of Jideo Emperor weapon. The possibility is not high. The higher possibility is that this terrifying divine formation is a formation disk arrangement. It contains endless terror, and the formation that took countless years to be arranged is compressed in the formation disk will then be naturally generated when it falls in the Beifang Vulcan domain. Someone from the Zhang family? Holy Land of Creation? Or the Yin-Yang Holy Land? Yang Hao's mind flashed with his enemies. The opponent was able to deploy such a terrifying divine formation at an unknown price. The only ones who had grudges against him and dared to attack him were the Zhang family and Ziwei. There are several powerful holy places in Xing. No need to waste your efforts. You are on the Emperor ranking for the first time, but you are ranked in the top 100. To us, you are a moving divine treasure. Originally, it was fine for you not to leave the Holy Land of Eternal Life. Now that you dare to leave, I can only say that you are extremely stupid and are seeking your own death. The incomparably calm voice came again. The divine fire that filled the sky turned into a series of ancient ferocious beasts, biting towards Yang Hao. The power of the divine fire that turned into an ancient ferocious beast has surpassed that of a saint, and every blow reaches the full strength of a saint. The point of one blow. Such a life and death killing, even a saint would have to fall in this terrifying killing array of 10 deaths and no life. Even Yang Hao showed traces of embarrassment at this time. He was not afraid of a head-on fight. But the other party had been hiding for a long time, and this divine formation was worth half a Jideo Emperor weapon. It was not surprising that he spent such a price, calculated mentally and unintentionally, so embarrassed. At this moment, Yang Hao had already sacrificed the Eternal Night Umbrella. Such as the Immortal King's creation map and other defensive magic weapons, all appeared with cleansing divine light. He could only be killed passively at the moment, and could not even see the opponent's figure. It was really frustrating. Master, are we now in the Beifang Fire God territory? At this time, Xiao Qing'er's voice suddenly came. On the verge. Yang Hao's heart moved. He was in crisis at this moment because the other party took advantage of the location and calculated it mentally or not. But when he was in crisis, Xiao Qing'er also did not end well. Seriously, this is Xiao Qing'er's home court. Obviously, Xiao Qing'er's protagonist's destiny is very likely to take effect and bring vitality. He immediately responded, now we are only one step away from the inner realm. Hearing Yang Hao's words, Xiao Qing'er immediately said, Master, as long as you can step into the inner realm and release me, I can help you escape. Qing'er, are you sure? We are now trapped in the divine formation. This divine formation is so terrifying that it can trap us to death. With your cultivation level, you will fall if you can't hold on for more than a minute. At this time, Yunyan questioned Xiao Qing'er. Sister Yunyan, don't worry. The Beifang Fire God realm is a relic left by the great emperor. If the other party can take advantage of it, naturally we can also take advantage of it. Hearing Xiao Qing'er's words, Yunyan and Yang Hao both nodded slightly. Break. Yang Hao's eyes condensed, and under Yunyan's guidance, the great desolate sword burst out. Suddenly, the world shook. The entire divine formation was shaken to the ground by the violent sword attack of the Jideo Emperor. Struggle in vain. It is a good imperial weapon, and it will be my emperor's by then. In the virtual space, the man's calm and smiling voice came again. He was confident that this was a dragnet. He had already known Yang Hao's background in advance, so the arrangement was extremely thorough. The only thing waiting for Yang Hao was defeat. Thinking of it, the supreme genius who was shining so brightly not long ago will be defeated by his own hands, and everything about him will be plundered by him. This person is extremely happy. Kindness. What happened? Where are people? But at the next moment, the figure's face changed slightly. There was an incredible look in his eyes. At this moment, in his perception, Yang Hao used the great sword to break through the divine formation for a moment, and then disappeared without a trace, as if he had completely lost track of his divine formation. Impossible. How could he escape from my 3 gods and 6 parts divine formation? How did he do that? Wrong. He must have used some special method to hide in the formation. Snort. There are many ways to do it, but it's a pity that you can't escape the Emperor's fiery eyes, so let him fall here. This figure who sniped Yang Hao was extremely confident. He did not believe that Yang Hao had disappeared. Instead, he stirred up the divine formation again and planned to completely refine Yang Hao hidden in the formation. Please download the novel without underlining. I took away the villain's son. Author, the great Onmyoji. Chapter 252. Master, it's safe here. As long as you enter from the core of this flame world, you can enter the secret place. Xiao Qing who was wearing a fiery red gauze skirt, said to Yang Hao. Just now, Yang Hao used the great desolate sword to briefly break through the divine formation of the Emperor's list to attack the quasi-emperor. Although he could not break out of the formation, he moved himself into it. In the inner domain of the Beifang Fire God territory. At the moment of entering the inner domain of the Beifang Fire God territory, Xiao Qing appeared. Then he used a magical secret method and directly took Yang Hao's hand into one of the boiling and rippling divine fires. From some kind of to a certain extent, the quasi-emperor who laid out the divine formation was not wrong. Yang Hao did not leave the divine formation, but entered a certain divine fire. Where they are now, there are walls of fire in all directions, but it's not hot, but there is a long and narrow passage directly ahead, leading to the end of the flickering flames. There is a world in a grain of sand, but I did not expect that the flames also contained endless worlds, Yang Hao said with emotion. This is clearly the mustard seed of Sumina. Every divine fire in the Beifang Fire God realm clearly hides a world, which really amazed him. Before, he was a little curious about how Xiao Qing would lead him out of trouble. I didn't expect that it would be done in this way. The master said it wrong. In the flames of the Beifang Fire God realm, there is actually no endless world. All the divine fires in the depths lead to this world. Xiao Qing smiled when she heard this and explained to Yang Hao. She passed the test in the Beifang Fire God realm and obtained the qualification to enter the world of fire in the divine fire at any time. Because of this, I can bring Lan Sheng into it. Naturally, I can also bring Yang Hao in now. Yeah. Yang Hao was stunned, but he narrowed his eyes. His footsteps suddenly stopped, and he did not continue to follow Xiao Qing deeper. What's the matter, master? It is absolutely safe here and there will be no danger. Xiao Qing thought that Yang Hao was worried about being in danger, so she immediately explained. In fact, there were dangers here when she entered. Of course, these dangers were all tests, and he had passed them all, so it is naturally extremely safe now. No. What you just said, repeat it again. Yang Hao suddenly squinted his eyes and looked at Xiao Qing. What? It's absolutely safe here. Xiao Qing was stunned when she heard this, but was interrupted by Yang Hao one more sentence. In the flames of the Beifang Fire God realm. Xiao Qing didn't understand what he meant, but she obeyed Yang Hao's words obediently and immediately repeated. Yes. Yang Hao's eyes lit up and he said to Xiao Qing, you mean to say that all the flames in the depths of the Beifang Fire God realm can lead to this world of flames, right? So if you leave this world of flames, can you walk out of any divine fire? His words made Xiao Qing nod subconsciously and said, it's natural. It's just that we have already entered the world of fire. Next we can go to the place where the Emperor's body is. Why should we go out? The quasi-emperor is probably still waiting. You mean? Xiao Qing was suddenly stunned. She was very smart and instantly realized what Yang Hao wanted to do. Kindness. The Beifang Vulcan domain stretches for hundreds of millions of miles. The power of this divine formation is terrifying. Can it cover the entire Beifang Vulcan domain? Yang Hao saw that Xiao Qing'er understood what he meant, and immediately said to Xiao Qing'er. Impossible, Xiao Qing'er said. In essence, the Beifang fire god realm was formed by the sea of spiritual energy of the heavenly fire emperor. Even if the divine array that person arranged was extremely terrifying, it would not be able to cover the entire Beifang Vulcan god realm. Xiao Qing'er told the secrets of Beifang fire god realm, and seemed to understand something, and said to Yang Hao, Master, do you want to kill him? I need to feel something. Yang Hao nodded with satisfaction. If the quasi-emperor who attacked him could cover the entire vast Beifang Vulcan domain, he would not have waited until he stepped into it before taking action. There is no doubt that the opponent could only enter the Beifang Vulcan domain at most. The divine fire within the domain, and the divine formations spread throughout the land, should not be able to cover them all. Xiao Qing'er's answer confirmed his. Found it? The divine formation that this person set up was very terrifying, almost controlling all the divine fires in the entire Beifang fire god territory, but after all, there were still many divine fires wandering outside the divine formation. Take me out. Yang Hao immediately said categorically. Once he has the chance, he will never wait for revenge. The opponent may not be stronger than him who has the ultimate emperor's weapons. He was trapped in the divine formation just now. The most difficult thing is precisely breaking the formation. As long as he can appear outside the divine formation, Yang Hao is sure to kill him. Good. Xiao Qing'er responded immediately, and she cast an extremely magical magic formula. The next moment, Yang Hao's figure appeared again in the Beifang fire god domain where the divine fire was overwhelming. However, compared to the terrifying divine fire that was trapped in the divine formation before, these divine fires in front of him really have no lethality to Yang Hao. Got you. As soon as he appeared, a divine light burst out in Yang Hao's eyes. The other party did not hide his aura. In his eyes, it was like a sun suddenly appeared in the night sky, extremely dazzling. Great wilderness sword. Yang Hao's eyes were stern. The great desolate sword slashed out like a god or demon. Puff. This sword struck directly at the unsuspecting quasi-emperor. His body collapsed in an instant. A mouthful of divine blood spat out from his mouth. Emperor Zun. Damn it! He really broke out of the formation. How can this be? How could he break through my divine formation? The appearance of the quasi-emperor was finally seen by Yang Hao at this moment. The opponent was dressed in blue, short in stature, and his face was extremely urgent at the moment. He did not have the Jidao Emperor's soldiers. Once he fought head-on, he would face someone who also had the quasi-emperor's combat power. Yang Hao, even if his cultivation level is higher than Yang Hao's, it will not help. Today, unless his cultivation level reaches the quasi-emperor 9th level, there is no way he can be Yang Hao's opponent. Escape. The short quasi-emperor, who has been able to reach this point, is extremely cunning. After knowing that Yang Hao had broken the formation, he left 9 days away without any hesitation. The law of reincarnation of destiny. In Yang Hao's eyes, deep blue and gray surged. Everything began to go in the opposite direction. The other party's fate was also shrouded in Yang Hao's reincarnation method. Without any surprise, the other party began to turn back. Getting closer to Yang Hao. No. Don't want. I am. The short quasi-emperor felt the danger of his fall and roared crazily, wanting to reveal his true identity and make Yang Hao afraid. Unfortunately, he spoke too slowly. Or maybe Yang Hao's sword is too fast. A shadow of a sword slayed directly down. The great wilderness sword kills the short quasi-emperor again. This time, Yang Hao exploded with all his strength, and the 6 avenues and the 3 supreme laws were instilled into the great desolate sword by Yang Hao in an instant. The short quasi-emperor was shattered in an instant. Another quasi-emperor fell at the hands of Yang Hao. I don't have a habit of remembering dead people's names. Yang Hao glanced at the body of the short quasi-emperor lightly, and with a wave of his hand, the body of the short quasi-emperor was put away by Yang Hao. At the level of quasi-emperor, the human body is already a treasure. Before he took the white hair of the Zhang family, the quasi-emperor's body was rewarded to the practitioners of the Holy Land of Eternal Life, but he collected this body himself. 79 on the emperor list. After beheading the short quasi-emperor, Yang Hao suddenly felt telepathy. Although there were no strange phenomena in the world, he knew that his luck on the emperor list had improved and he had advanced a few places. There was no doubt that his fortune had improved. Question. The white-haired quasi-emperor of the Zhang family who was killed before was not even qualified to be listed on the god list. Naturally, it did not bring any improvement to him on the emperor list. But the short quasi-emperor he killed just now was a member of the emperor list. After beheading the supreme prodigy, he robbed him of his luck, and his ranking on the emperor ranking was also improved. However, for him, the opponent's luck was really a drop in the bucket, pitifully rare, and Yang Hao did not have it. Care. Let's go. Yang Hao said to Xiao Qing'er calmly after seeing the fall of the short quasi-emperor. Xiao Qing'er naturally immediately took Yang Hao into the world of flames again. Owner. There was something not quite right about what happened just now. Xiao Qing'er led Yang Hao to walk in the world of flames and said to Yang Hao. I know. Yang Hao said calmly. Of course it's not right. Not long after he left the Holy Land of Eternal Life, he was ambushed by someone in the Beifang Fire God realm. Even if the other party could be omniscient and omnipotent and conduct deductions about himself, he must know a lot of information about himself. Yes. It seems that the Holy Land of Eternal Life is not monolithic. Who is the one? Yang Hao's mouth showed an intriguing smile. He revealed his information to the peerless genius on the Emperor's list and asked the other party to ambush him. Do you really think he won't care? Arrive. Xiao Qing'er and Yang Hao walked in tandem for a long time. Because Xiao Qing'er led the way, they did not encounter any accidents. Suddenly, Xiao Qing'er's footsteps stopped, and a flame slowly opened in front of her eyes like a water curtain. Yang Hao narrowed his eyes. Directly in front, 3 figures appeared in his eyes.